We are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James, of course, with my co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, how you doing?
Good. It's just hot.
That's true. For those of you that live in Central California, you know what I'm talking about. We completely skipped spring and went straight from winter to summer because it's been stupid hot. It gets stupid hot for us every year, but we expect the gradual change. We didn't get that this time. We just got straight from cold to hot, and it's everyone's complaining about it. Me being one of the people, especially. So we are joined by Stuart Smith, who is here to talk to us about his career. And we love having guests, of course. So, Stuart, thank you for joining us. You know Kaelyn through you guys both at training at Manny Mancha's Thai.
Yeah.
Muay Thai. There we go. I forgot the title.
Yeah.
And so, tell us a little bit more about your story, man. How did you get into doing Muay Thai?
Well, it was a long journey with fighting as a whole. What basically started out was me in high school. I've always felt like I had a competitive kind of spirit, and I was pretty athletic, but I was never really into team sports. Like, I played football my freshman year, didn't really like that. I played soccer for about 8 years, but just never decided to continue with it. I played basketball a little bit, didn't like that either. And so I started doing calisthenics in high school, and had like a little workout group and stuff, and they all started talking about learning how to fight and defend yourself. Like, oh, what's the point of getting strong if you can't use it? And so we started, me and just a bunch of dudes in high school started throwing on gloves and just scrapping out there, and it was super fun. And this guy named Joseph at school, he was known for knowing how to fight, known for scrapping and all that stuff. So he started jumping in the mix, and I got really invested into it after that. And I started learning kind of like backyard karate stuff, the throwing those fancy kicks with no real technique, just kind of doing it. And I was having fun. And so a bunch of personal things happened. I ended up becoming homeless my senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
And so one of the big things that opened up for me when I moved out of my mom's house was I could actually start training, like legit actually going to a gym, because my parents lived like in the boonies, like a good hour and a half from any sort of town, any grocery store, anything like that. So training was never an option, and plus my grades weren't the best, so they weren't really in a hurry to give me more things to get distracted by. So I can't really blame them about that, but once I moved out, I started legitimately training. I found a gym called Fighters Corner out in Salinas. I'm from Monterey, Seaside area, and so I traveled up to Salinas, which was like 15 minutes away from where I went to high school at. So it was pretty easy to get on a bus, and I started training jiu-jitsu under there, gi jiu-jitsu, and then me and my girlfriend, we started getting more serious and stuff, and just a bunch of personal things happened where we started looking to move out and get our own place. And so it was way too expensive in Monterey. I think it's
It's Monterey,
dude,
man.
you can't find like a studio under 26 or something crazy like that. That's what we're seeing. So I had a friend in high school who was from Bakersfield and moved to Bakersfield after high school, and he was one of the dudes that I worked out with and basically trained with in high school. And so he was telling me, oh, there's these great places out in Bakersfield like Eric Nolan's, One Nation, and like Hammer Down and all that stuff. So he was like, oh, come here, it'd be great. So we moved out there. We got a whole spot in Bakersfield. I really started taking my training completely serious at this point. Trained hard for about a year, and then things fell out with him. We ended up moving out of Bakersfield and to Fresno, just kind of on a quick whim, and I've been here since. And my striking in Muay Thai, dude, it was dog shit in Bakersfield, because like when I went the first day I came to Manny's, I had to earn my stripes. There's this guy named Andy there, dude. I was getting ready for a fight, and I was getting ready to go to the Muay Thai Open actually in Arizona, and I saw that Andy won one of the class belts from the Muay Thai Open. So I was like, you know what, man, Andy, hey, let's get a sparring in before class. Not really thinking anything of it, just kind of like, oh yeah, it'd be good work, to see where I'm at. Well, the next day comes around, right before Manny holds the class, stops the class just so we could spar, dude. And I was fighting for my life for like 5 minutes.
That's hilarious.
And we were bleeding by the end of it. It was just like, it was a big wake up call, because up until that point, my striking was horrible. I thought I was Sean O'Malley, bouncing around, a bunch of wild head movement, just throwing punches at crazy angles. Most of the stuff I landed was pretty much lucky. So, going to Manny's was a big wake up call, and I'm barely, about a year in at Manny's, and hard work every day for about that year. I've just started seeing like legitimate progress, and my defense, my movement, my rhythm, all these things that Manny's been teaching, it's finally are starting to come together after about a year. So it's cool to see, and it's I'm definitely excited to see where I go from there and how good I get.
Even like a year in, like I didn't know shit for like 4 years, so the fact you got it down in a year is pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely takes a minute. There's been a bunch of new guys coming in, and they're asking me, they're watching me spar. They're like, "Oh, dude, you look so composed in there." I was like, "Man, I've been doing it. I've been getting my ass whooped probably for about 3 years now." So it's like, don't take anything.
That's not overnight. That takes time. A lot of people don't seem to get that. So it's good that you're impressing on these younger students, these new guys. Hey, this isn't day one. It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, in Manny's, it's, at One Nation, where I came from in Bakersfield, it was hard work, but it was more so MMA based. And so it was, hard in the sense that, okay, we have striking. I'm not used to that striking cardio, getting used to that striking cardio. And now we're wrestling. So it's like, how wrestling cardio and grappling cardio is a lot different from striking cardio. Yeah. And so from going to kind of having a good base in between there to going just extreme striking cardio, oh, dude, it was tough. Like I was drowning a lot of times. I've never wanted to cry hitting pads before it came to Manny's. That dude, you can't please him. It's always harder, faster, harder, faster. I'm like, God damn, I'm trying here.
Yeah.
But it's different.
Thing about Manny, he's a really nice guy too. So it's like you get two different people. Like you get training, and then you get Manny, who's like your friend. Like after class, everything's all good, but during class, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like when does it stop?
Flips that switch.
Yeah,
it's a good switch. You need that. That's important. But it's funny because I don't know if you've ever seen any of his fights or his highlights and stuff like that.
Man,
he's a heavy hitter, and he's just always. He told me something one time. I was getting ready for a fight that I had in 2019 with Manny, and we were just like, you go over stuff here and there, in between rounds or whatever. And like we were done one day, and I forgot what I said to him. I'm like, well, I think I'm gonna do this, and he's like, yeah, just be savage all the time. And then he turns around and walks away. And I remember that forever.
All willy-nilly.
Yeah, no, but it's true because he is all the time. So his way of training, it's like, yeah, you're gonna want to cry, but it's good for you.
Yeah, and literally, I've my last fight, I had the pleasure of having him and Eddie in my corner, and it didn't make it past the first round. But I always have Mariano telling me stories and writing little quotes from him and Manny in the corner. I'm like, dude, that just gives you goosebumps, dude. Just reading it on the couch makes me like, want to punch through a wall,
Yeah. But go ahead and get into that fight that you had recently. You fought at the Pack. I don't know what number they're on now. I don't know. Pack 20 something
or something. Oh yeah, 28, 18. I don't know.
Yeah. So they had it at the Fresno City College gym. It was during. I don't know if it was because they were having Asian Fest there that same weekend.
I know it was during Asian Fest.
It was. I don't know if it was planned just because things were going on already there, and it kind of goes together. So I don't know. I thought that was cool. But so that was your first fight that you've had with Manny so far. So go ahead and get into what you did in training, how that kind of came through, and like the outcome and all that.
Well, I'm just gonna say, whoever planned the Asian Fest with all the food around the people cutting weight, they're evil.
That's gonna be messed up.
They're straight evil. I got lost in the parking lot because I didn't know what gym it was, and we ended up parking on the other side. And I was walking through,
smelling
all the food. I was like, I'm about to risk it all, man. One taco, please. But how it came, I think I got like the news like 4 months in. Like 4 months out, before the fight. And so I've taken, I had I think 2 last-minute MMA fights beforehand under Manny to where, I had my girlfriend corner me. And so I was always working hard and getting ready for a fight, just for whatever happens. But once I was after my last MMA fight, I won. But I was kind of like, I don't really want to dip my toes back into MMA until I at least have my blue belt and can chain wrestle. So I was like, I'm going to stick to striking. And so I told Manny, I was like, I'm kind of want to jump on a scheduled track now instead of just going all out of nowhere. And so I told him I would like to look for more striking fights, and he got me one. And I think we got the notice in December. It was really early on. And what kind of had me all riled up for this fight was I felt, I'm not gonna say disrespected in a way, but I felt like kind of like, oh, whatever, dude. Because when we were signing the contract in the email, it was like, oh, Stewart has 4 fights under camo, letting the opponent know, and then his coach ends up writing, oh, well, our guy he's 3-1 with 2 knockouts. And like after that, it was like, you sure you want to take this fight or something? I think that's how it was, or that's what it said, like in the screenshot or something along those lines. Maybe I just took it personal or something. Maybe it wasn't that.
You should.
But yeah, awesome, literally, I was like, well, okay, now I'm gonna knock you out now. I was like, I felt some type of way.
That's a hell of a motivator.
Yeah, I was like, who's this guy think he is?
Like, excuse me?
That's what I said. I was like, wow, really? And so, I told my lady going in this, I was like, man, I'm going to try and starch this fool. It's like, I'm going to come in and, try and be evil, try and be mean in there. And leading up to the fight, I kind of had a switch of mindsets almost because, like I said, I was getting angry. I was like, yeah, I want to kill this guy, fuck him and his 2 little ass knockouts. Who the fuck you think he is? And then I started getting like tired almost, being so angry about it. You know what I mean? I started getting stressed out because I was thinking, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be angry when I get in there. And I was like, well, shoot, what happens if he's more angry than me? I was like, oh shoot. Good. I'm not really a guy who holds grudges or some, cutthroat type dude. Like I might get angry on little things, but I'm not a type of person I'm mad for hours and hours, or something small ruins my day and I'm just pissed about it. And so I'm pretty easygoing. And so trying to hold that persona and almost lying to myself, saying that's the type of guy I was, it almost kind of like drained me and stressed me out even more. Yeah. So leading up to it, I think like 2 weeks out, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to have fun. I was like, I don't want to make it too stressful, too serious. You know what I mean? This is amateurs getting ready for pro. So it's just all preparation. So I was like, might as well have fun. And I mean, it showed in there, I was.
You were having a good old time.
I was dancing on my way out. I was listening to the Bee Gees. Yeah. Shoot, I was having a good time.
That was awesome.
But I felt so loose in there. So like I've had 8 fights now. The 7 fights before, except for my first fight. The first fight, that was just fun. But the other ones, I felt like, I'm drowning walking out to the ring or the cage, or being even in the back, dude. It's almost like Manny said it perfectly. He's I'm gonna try and find the fire alarm, just so we can get out of there. And so this last fight was just a completely different feeling from any of my previous ones. And I'm granted it's pretty early on in fighting. Looking at all the people, like I brought up Lomachenko earlier on. He's had 400 something fights combined. So you know what I mean? I'm definitely young into it, but I feel like I'm breaking new walls with these new mindsets, and even just being honest and learning about myself through the whole journey has been helping me out. Just being helping me out perform, you know, understanding my mental and all that stuff.
Mhm. Now,
So,
when
yeah, that was the last fight.
after getting in there, what was going through your head? Like, you know, the bell rings, then what?
Oh, well, like I said, I was usually in there. Like I said, for the first 7 fights, it was usually I was on noodles walking into the ring, and right when the bell rings, it all kind of shuts off. But I mean, in this last fight, walking in there, I was super thoughtful. I was thinking. I wasn't in the moment. Well, I was in the moment, but it wasn't like I, I, I said this to my dad one of my first fight I had. It felt like the TV representation of being on like crack or coke. Everything just zoomed in like zoom, like
Just
you
tunnel
know what's
vision.
going on. Yeah, like you don't have a. I didn't. I remember my first fight. I remember it so vividly. I threw a teep. I didn't know how far I was. I didn't know how far he was. It was just like looking through a magnifying glass. I remember throwing it and landing it, and it wasn't like that at all. In this last fight, it was so clear. So I was very calm. You know, I remember asking the dude, "Hey, you want to touch gloves beforehand?" He was there. I remember, you know, feeling my distance immediately, knowing where I could hit him, and if he was going to hit me, he'd have to step in. And like he did, our first exchange, he threw a leg kick. I didn't check it very well, so I took it on the calf, but I was like, whatever. And he steps in and hits me, and I counter him, and he ends up flying back because he's super off balance from just trying to jump in and out and me clipping him. So I felt super calm in there this last fight. I felt literally perfect. I knew, you know, if I didn't knock him out in the first round like I did, I was gonna beat him regardless. That's just how I felt going in there. I just so confident, so comfortable.
What was the round structure like?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
What was the round structure like? Was it 3 minutes and you have 5 rounds, or was it? What was the time and the amount of rounds?
I think it was just 2 threes. Just nothing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it was
nothing
3
too crazy.
2s. I think. I feel like.
Oh yeah, 3 minute. 2-minute rounds.
3 2-minute rounds.
Yeah,
is what they do.
that's what it was. My bad. I swapped them.
No worries.
Yeah.
It all feels the same though.
Yeah. I can't tell the difference in there. You know.
Now, as you progress, like in pack, say you compete on another pack card, will they change that to make it like 3 3s, or is it always 3 2s?
I think they might change it to 3 3s once I fight for their belt. And I'm looking to do that in my next fight. Not to sound like super cocky or confident or anything, but
I think different organizations do their own.
Yeah.
However, they'd want to structure their rounds. I think for sure it's 5 if it's a belt. I think 5 rounds.
I think
it should be. You think?
Yeah, I think 5 is when they start going to pros. I assume because I've had I know a bunch like some of my old training partners in Bakersfield. You know, one of them has the Camo State belt. One of them has like the Dream Fight League and the VFS belt right now. And he's only I think he goes to 3 3s once you fight for belts and stuff. And I think actually after you pass a certain amount of fights actually in amateur MMA, I think you just jump up to 3 3s.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, after like a certain, I think it's like after 4 or 5 fights.
So you want to do MMA, and right now you're just taking routes of getting expertise in each martial art, basically. So is that your goal? Do you want to do a lot of Muay Thai, or do you just want to do here and there so you can get it down, then Jiu-Jitsu and all the others?
Well, to be honest, I would actually love to go pro in Muay Thai and kickboxing. You know, MMA is the main end goal just because I feel like, you know, that's where a lot of the glory is. You know, like there's always, you know, I could say like, oh, you know, I'm one of the best kickboxers, or like let's say like the Tyson Fury and John Jones. There's like a little bit of beef right now going on there. Yeah. It's like Fury's the greatest, you know, heavyweight boxer of all time, sure, but there's always gonna be some dude. Yeah. Oh, what happens when you get taken down? You know what I mean? You know,
apples and oranges, though. That's always been. They've always had that comparison. I've never understood why. It's 2 totally different sports.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But you know, I would like to be in the conversation of, yeah, you know, I have let's say like the WBC Muay Thai belt, I have a glory belt, the ISKA, like I've accomplished great things in striking, but now I'm also, top 15 UFC, top 5, top 2, you know what I mean? And it's like, now you can't say shit, like I could whoop your ass in striking if I want to, and I could also grapple with you guys. So it's like, I guess like I said, MMA is the main goal, for the glory aspect of it. You know what I mean? I want to be able to I want to beat grapplers, like I want to out grapple some grapplers one day and stuff, but I'm just enjoying striking right now so much. It's what I'm most comfortable at. And obviously I'm definitely going to be doing jiu-jitsu on the side before I do step back into any MMA cage and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely working on both. I'm not slouching out right now.
That's
so
good.
wait, you are just doing striking right now, but you plan on getting back into grappling?
Yeah,
doing grappling as well.
For this last fight, I stepped away from jiu-jitsu. I think for about 3 months now I haven't done any jiu-jitsu. Mainly because I'd like to find a one-stop shop, preferably, just, a place where I can do both. It's kind of hard to find that right now.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
But I still got the muscle memory with grappling and stuff. And once I start getting back into shape after about 2 more weeks of really grinding all the fat off that I gained from after the fight, like that weekend right after, it was tough on me. So I'm definitely jumping back into jiu-jitsu here soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to go to one gym and get, an expert in Muay Thai, expert in jiu-jitsu, expert in boxing. You do. I think in Fresno, a lot of the fighters have their own separate gym for striking, jiu-jitsu, and all that. And then they got to somehow put it together. Some people get lucky; they have an MMA coach that can put it all together for them. But I mean, unless you're going to some world-renowned gym that has all the UFC fighters there already there, and they have their coaches there, you kind of have to put it together yourself somehow and come up with a strategy of like, okay, I need to work on my striking. So how long should I do this? Should I take a lot of fights? Should I get really good at it and then move on, or try to do it all at one time? I think I've known people that try to do it all at one time and it just kind of falls apart, So I don't know. I think everyone's different, and do whatever feels right. If you're having a good time in Muay Thai, do Muay Thai, I think.
Do Muay Thai, yeah. I have to agree with that. I've been around enough to know that I've seen guys try different things and it doesn't always seem to work for them, but for others it works perfectly. So what you're doing right now with just focusing in on your Muay Thai, and you're also competing in Muay Thai, as long as you're having fun, keep doing it.
I think Muay Thai is getting bigger too. It wasn't this big before. Like, you have fights all over California, the U.S. Opens and all that. Like, that's a big deal right now. And I think maybe it should take off, a little bit more. Maybe there'll be more opportunities to do Muay Thai, or kickboxing. I know they kind of goes through waves. Like, I know we have Glory Kickboxing, which is probably the biggest, I think, which, they're not even that big here. They're really big in Europe. But I wish we had more stand-up, to showcase rather than just UFC. But you tend to see all those showcased kickboxers in UFC. So,
yeah.
That, like you said, they all end up in MMA. That's where it all ends up, So I don't know. I just started rambling on about that. But.
I mean, shoot, dude, if I can, like I said, I'd love to. I'm super competitive. I'd love to fuck up some wrestlers in wrestling and stuff. But I mean, if striking does get bigger, you know what I mean? Maybe my aspirations will change. What I do like you said, Glory Kickboxing is probably the biggest kickboxing organization coming up, or it right at the moment.
Yeah.
And you have one championship, which is getting a little bit more eyes.
Getting bigger, and they have some good fighters. Those fights are very exciting, and I know they're on Amazon Prime, so you could watch it there. But man, I don't know. And they had their own app for a while, but I mean, their live fights are like on a Wednesday at 3 a.m.
Yeah, random.
Time, because they're over there in Singapore. But they came here not too long ago to Denver. I think was last
Colorado,
one.
yeah.
Colorado, that was a massive fight card. That was great. I'm like, man, I wish they would do that more. They would pick up a lot more steam doing that. You have options in one championship to just do Muay Thai. They have a grappling tournament also. They give out belts for grappling. Like, they have everything. I think that's a really good organization. Of course UFC is at the top, but for someone to just be a striker, you can go into that organization, get paid like they get paid, and I hope that takes off more here. I hope they bring it over here a lot more.
Me too.
They're huge over there in Singapore. It's just, man, I guess I'll stay up on a Wednesday. Like, if I really want to see something, but which is hard. But I hope that takes off. And they pay their fighters pretty well too. So I hope that sticks around because you have so many options there with that organization.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Actually, it's funny about, staying up on a Wednesday. I think like one of the very first live events that I remember watching was when Eddie Alvarez and Demetrius Johnson went over there on the same card for their first fights over there. And I remember staying up and watching. That was like one of the first events I've ever watched live. It was pretty wicked too to see, Eddie Alvarez be hella good in the US, but then just get starched by this Russian no-name.
No one knows who it was, and they're like, "Whoa, who are these guys?"
Yeah, but I mean, you go over there, and these guys are, hometown heroes. Home names, and it's crazy.
Over here.
Mm-hmm. And I think with the pay and stuff, I definitely think this is just the beginning with all with the financial route, just because. Striking as a whole, it's pretty old. Boxing and Muay Thai have been around forever, but just like MMA and bringing the eyes to it, it's so young, dude. I think like UFC's only been around for 30 years now, or something like that. I think they had their 30th anniversary. Yeah, dude, it's so young. We never know how far it's gonna go, and so that's what's fun about it. And I remember when Bellator had kickboxing.
They did.
It was so much fun to watch those. Yeah, they had Kevin Ross. In there, and Ross in the circuit, they had a lot of good dudes there. So I wonder what happened to that. I heard they Big Al, actually, I was talking to him at the gym, and he was telling me how he wanted to get into striking stuff, and I was like, oh, well, you have connections with Bellator, see if you hop in their kickboxing circuit. And like, they got rid of it. I was like, what? They
did. I remember that they had a cage on one side and a ring on the other side, all in one room.
I know.
And it didn't last for very long, but I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, you don't get to see a kickboxing ring. You're used to seeing a boxing ring for boxing, but like, no, this is a kickboxing. And it was a ring. It was an actual ring. It wasn't a cage. They weren't
with the ropes and everything.
Yeah, everything. It was awesome. Like Glory, like they have their traditional, kickboxing ring. I want to see more of that, man. I don't know why that Glory is not big here. I guess, all their fighters basically come from like Amsterdam and the Netherlands and over there, so I understand that it's way bigger there, but man, bring it over here.
I know. One I wish a lot of the bigger kind of organizations like in the area would start doing stuff like that. Like I think VFS was talking about doing Muay Thai. I think they like made an announcement on their Instagram, but I don't know what happened with that. But a place that is doing that is Royal Combat up in LA. They have a Muay Thai circuit and an MMA circuit, and they do like Muay Thai shows and MMA shows back to back. They never really combine the two, but dude, I kind of wish a lot of the other places would start doing that. Like combining the shows just to bring eyes to it. I know they started doing like throwing jiu-jitsu in between the MMA matches, and I think that's badass. I actually saw combat jiu-jitsu live, and some dude was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude was in his guard and just starts slapping him. Just hitting him. Boom,
that's so
boom, boom, knocks him out. And I was like, You're
like, what is going on?
Game over.
It's crazy.
That's not normal. You're not used to seeing people getting hit in a jiu-jitsu tournament.
I know, but I mean, it was so much fun, just people are there for MMA. They have no idea what combat jiu-jitsu is, and bringing ice to it, some random person could be like, dude, I want to do that. And boom, now you're just building it up. And I wish a lot of these places, a lot of these local organizations with big following and stuff would also do that with the strikers as well. Because I feel like there's a bunch of, striking only dudes here in the Valley who are kind of underrepresented versus the other, amateur MMA dudes almost. We're not huge like superstars, but I mean, I've seen a lot of dudes with 1,000+ following and other really good striking dudes with barely 2 to 3. So,
559 was doing that, right? Or did they not go through with that? James, have you heard anything else about that? Like 559 was going to do Muay Thai fights.
I hadn't heard anything. I know they do jiu-jitsu for sure.
Right.
Years ago, they did kids pancration, but that's really about it. I don't recall ever even maybe they've had the idea, but I haven't seen it executed.
They had the advertisements out for sometime in March. And I don't know if they went through with it. I don't know if anyone signed up. Maybe no one signed up. But 559 was going to have Muay Thai. I was like, oh, well, that's something to look forward to. That's good. That would be cool to watch.
Well, they got 559 100 coming up. So,
oh, wow.
Maybe they'll do that there. Yeah, 100
hey,
shows.
I would jump on that.
I was going to say, you can sign up.
After that 20 seconds, I'm feeling kind of hot. So I would jump on that.
I would do that too. If I'm trying to lose weight and I'm doing it, it's taking a long time. But if 559 did do a Muay Thai, I'd sign up for that one. That'd be cool. That'd be a good experience. Because I think they would do it.
Be interesting.
They would do it in a cage too, just like they do the.
It would be in the cage.
That'd be interesting.
It would help fill time for a card. I mean, if you have
exciting
so many fights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally, and I feel like a lot of those striking matches are just straight bang out sessions anyway.
They are.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't really get taken to the ground and stall. It's either I'm gonna punch you in the face or I'm gonna run away. So I mean it's one of the two parties are going crazy. So I feel like it would be a great option too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish they'd do that more. I feel like Royal Combat's doing the good thing, and Fighters Rep too in LA, they're putting on great shows.
They're pretty good. Their shows are pretty good. Mariano did pretty good over there. Another guy from our gym. He got a knockout also.
40
the
seconds
weekend
in.
Before your fight, I think, right?
Literally right before, yeah.
That was so
in.
cool to watch. I think I was in bed and I was watching the Facebook. I think it was like Facebook or Instagram Live, or someone had it. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was at my girlfriend's parents' house and everybody was asleep and I'm watching it, and so I gotta I'm freaking out, but I gotta be quiet. I'm like, oh my goodness,
I know, right? It's just so exciting when your teammate is doing a thing also. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a really good group of fighters at Manny's right now, and I hope that you guys continue to work together and sign up for more fights. I don't know. I feel like. What is it? LA has the most going on right now for fights, for promotions that you guys can.
You would think so. It's the second biggest city in the United States.
You would hope so.
It should have something going on.
I mean, it's a hot spot out there. I hear a lot of the amateur places over there are actually working with the WBC commission. I was asking Manny about it, and they said they just finalized deals in pros, and now they're finally moving over to amateur. And I think I saw a card coming up that was under WBC, kind of.
That should be interesting.
Eyes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, shoot, I want a green belt on my wall. I always thought they looked cool. So
yeah,
that'd be awesome to even just to fight for one. WBC is so huge. Between boxing and. To be honest, striking wise, I feel like that's probably one of the more prestigious belts, just because it is in between Muay Thai and boxing, two different worlds, but it's one organization. I feel like, if you have one, you're up there. So that'd definitely be tight to have one.
So yeah. Okay. So what's next for you? Do you have any fights scheduled yet? Or are you guys just going to get back into training and see what comes up next?
Well, I'm feeling good. I let Manny know that I'm ready We put one in for the same card that Mariano and Ignacio were supposed to fight on. I don't know if they got anything, but I got left on red. So I told that to
No.
Manny, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do. And he was like, we'll just play it by ear.
Yeah, I feel like stuff always comes up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I don't want to just take that and like, oh, okay, well, I don't have a fight and just get out of shape, because what if they hit me up like a week or two before the thing and they're like, oh, well, we finally got an opponent for you. So I'm trying to stay ready for that.
Yeah, that's it's such an emotional role. I don't know. For me, when I know I have a fight scheduled, like nothing else matters. Nothing else matters, no matter how far out it is, like 4 or 5 months. I don't care. Like that's it. Like that is all I'm living for right now. So I can't imagine. And this happens to a lot of you guys, especially Mariano too. You'll agree to a fight, and then by the time you actually fight, it's like you've gone through 2 different people that have agreed to actually fight you that day. And I can't imagine going to a weigh-in and the guy just like not showing up or something, or they get sick or whatever they want to call it. The guy doesn't,
a car crash or something. Yeah, something crazy.
Something all of a sudden. I'm like, man, that's never happened to me, luckily. But I can't imagine getting ready for a fight, showing up, and then the guy's not there, or your opponent is not there.
That's gotta suck.
Well, I can't really talk smack because I've kind of been on the receiving end of both. I remember I had a big fight for Central Coast Fighting Championship where they're gonna place me up against a killer. And I'm not even gonna lie, when I first got the contract, I wasn't confident at all. I texted him. I texted the dude. I was like, I don't think this is the right guy for me. I don't see it being super competitive. Like, I'm gonna get my ass whooped. Like, because he was just a straight wrestler. And he kind of told me, he was like, oh, for layman's terms, stop being a bitch. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm gonna stop being a bitch, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna scrap. And so I get ready for it. And I'm kind of thinking, I'm just gonna go out there and do my thing. Whatever happens. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna hit this dude in the face. And then I go to the doctor to get my physical done. I'll take the full blame for it because I did wait a week to get my physical. But they ended up telling me that I was on a medical suspension. I couldn't get cleared because in the fight. So the fight was supposed to take place in October. I had to fight in August, and I broke my orbital bone. My eye was completely swelled up shut, and I went to the doctor, and they said, no, dude. It was like you need to have documented training before I could, where you're getting hit in the face until I could, even think about doing it. And so that was kind of that was definitely an emotional roller coaster. I was like, dude, I feel like I'm letting everybody down. This is my hometown. I was like, the people, the promoters out there are going to think I'm a bitch. I'm representing, I like to represent and say I'm from Seaside, because that's where all my family roots are. I graduated from high school. My great grandfather was the mayor. So, I like to hold up that name.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, I'm from Seaside, awesome. And, and to say that and then just get cucked out like that too. It's like, fuck, dude, I look horrible right now. So that was embarrassing. So I can't really talk smack on those dudes because I know sometimes things do happen. But yeah, I heard I actually heard at the last Fighters Rep event, some dude missed weight and then just ended up freaking out. And that's like a bunch of fights fell out that same night that Mariano fought. And that's why Fighters Rep was thinking about just canceling all the shows. Like, screw it, I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I heard. Bad. Yeah, that's what I heard. And, he was on Instagram saying that he wasn't going to do any more shows because people miss weight. But now he's saying he's planning on coming back. So, that'd be awesome for Mariano because he was in a title tournament and he knocked his dude out to fight for the belt. And then all of a sudden they just quit out on him. I was like, oh, that's
interesting. That was interesting. Yeah, how now all of a sudden, we're not going to do the belt anymore. Like, oh, okay, because your guy, it didn't work out for your guy, but okay.
Yeah. Now I have a question. Since I only know so much about Muay Thai, when you fight in Muay Thai, is there, not for a title, but can you change it last minute to be like a catchweight fight, or is it this is the agreement, this is what we have to stick to? There's no changing it.
I think with amateurs, it's so just kind of like out of whack. Things can change day of. It just all depends on I guess, like say if I come in, I'm supposed to fight at 1 130, like 134 to 137, and I show up like 138 or 138 and some change. If my opponent says I'm still down to fight, sure, we can do it at that weight, and I think then it changes. But for the most part, when you sign a contract, I don't know if there's any repercussions for missing weight. I've never missed weight.
No, I've
and
never
I feel like
seen-
there should be, but
you would think.
I feel like it would get around that you missed weight in the way it's just your notoriety.
Yeah,
I think that's what would be affected.
I know a lot of the promoters
are like, I don't know if I want to offer this guy a fight again. Is he going to take it serious? Is he going to show up? He's going to be on weight. But I've seen amateur fights fall apart completely at the weigh-in. You have a different opponent, different rules. Like all of a sudden, we're not going to wear headgear for this one. Okay, let's do it. And they agree. And it's like, well, anything to keep the show on, and it works out. I don't think anything bad's ever come of that, but they'll do like some wacky stuff, like new opponent, different rules. Okay, let's I remember I fought in one. It was a long time ago. It was like my second fight, and we were in the back getting ready, getting our gear on, getting everything taped up and everything. And one of the guys from the promotion came in. He's like talking to some girl. He's like, "Hey, are you guys fighting with gear today?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know anymore." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll go figure it out." It's like, what, dude? I need to know like way before.
And I actually had one of these instances from my MMA debut. I was supposed to actually make it on MMA Fight Pass before. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Archie's been affiliated with MMA Fight Pass the whole time or not, but I remember when he was for his first card, or maybe it was the one before MMA Fight, the first card in Bakersfield. It fell through just because nobody got their physicals in, nobody got their stuff in, so the fight got pushed back.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I was ready to go. I think this was in November. And I was ready to go, so I hit up another promotion that was going down, and actually my hometown, it smack dab right in the middle of Seaside. There was a fight going on that same night, so I hit him up the week of, and he was like, "Hey, dude, you're gonna have to cut like." I walked around at like 140, 138 at this time. He was like, the fight's at 130 if you want it. He's like, a dude just dropped out. We can do it. And I think it was like 2 days out. I was like, fuck it, dude. I'll try. And so,
it's too much.
Ended up eating only 2 pieces of kimchi those 2 days, sucked on a little bit of water here and there. And, I made the weight. I think I was 129.8 in 2 days. And I showed up to weigh-ins. My opponent didn't. We start calling the coach and everything. He was like, "Yeah, I saw videos of you training. You're too big. I'm not taking the fight." Didn't even show up. Started declining the calls from the promoter. And so now it was just like, dude, well, I'm fucking here, like three hours away from home. It's like I'm sucked out. Yeah, literally, I'm starving, and I'm waiting. And I was actually the former dude. It was so crazy. I was trying to find opponents, so I was calling like there's a gym up in Salinas, Team Take Flight. They have some really good dudes, and they had Alex Bonilla and one of the and some other guy who was like 6th in the state. And I was like, I'll fight him, dude. I was like, I'll fight anybody. I'm trying to. It was like, I came here to scrap. That's where my mindset is at. I'll fight anybody. And I was calling up the coach, like, hey, is your guy good to go? Is this guy good to go? No, nobody. They're all out of town. I was like, well, shit. Well, is he good to go? Like, I was really just going down a list of 135.
Are you good to go, man? I will fight you.
Literally on the phone. It was like, dude, I'm fighting someone tonight, damn it.
I mean, all that build up and training for this one day, you get there and it's like, this isn't happening. What? And
a huge letdown.
Yeah.
And I sold, I think, like, well, I didn't sell the tickets, but I told some family members, and they were coming down from like Santa Cruz or and San Jose, and that's like an hour drive. And I'm telling them like, hey, I'm gonna make my debut here. It would be great if you guys showed up. Oh, I'd love to. They start driving down, and now I got to call them like they're halfway here, and be like, hey, I'm not fighting, by the way. That sucks. That's a shitty feeling, and it blows.
You feel like you're wasting their time.
Yeah, day of too. Yeah, literally.
As if that's not enough stress already that you're actually fighting, but you got to worry about the people you invited and got tickets sold for and all that.
Yeah.
When that happened, you should have been like, listen, you're going to see me fight. It's just going to be in the parking lot.
Yeah, no, it's like, dude, do I got to go to your gym on Monday? It was like, I'll record it, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but that's amateurs though. Anything can go. Anything. It's like up or down. I don't invite anybody anymore to. For one, it's like a mental thing where I prefer no one to be there. But
you don't want the added pressure.
But the added pressure of like, oh, maybe my opponent might not show up. Like, just leave me alone. You know, let me go up there. I'll do it by myself and come back home. I'll let you know what happens. You know, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
I think the only fight that I invited family to, I got absolutely dominated for 3 rounds. So after that,
that too.
I got straight wrestle dogged in front of my pops, and I was like, you know what? I'll tell you when I'm gonna fight. You guys can show up if you want. You know, it is what it is.
No pressure.
Don't tell me about it.
Yeah, you'll see the results. You know, later tonight. You know, but
yeah.
But
yeah. So yeah, I guess that's about it though. That's a crazy story. Hopefully you get a fight soon. Hopefully training just keeps going well. Is there
I'm gonna be there.
Anybody want to shout out? Anything like that before we go?
Shout out Manny Mancha, putting us through hell. Shout out to my training partners, Ignacio, Alec, Mariano, for fucking working hard. You know, Mariano with the 40-second knockout round 1 in a big fight, you know, pushing him for a title. Shout out to Ignacio for dominating all 3 rounds, technical, you know, super slick. Shout out to Alec for scrapping his heart out, you know, and you know, shout out to me for my performance.
Yeah,
but literally, we all wouldn't have been able to perform without Manny and his work ethic, and you know, just everybody there to support us. So shout out to everybody who fucks with us. You know, shout out to everybody who doesn't. You know what I mean? But we're here, and you know, we're kicking ass. So
now, is there any way people can find you on social media?
Yeah. Just at Instagram, Stuartron, Stuatron, like Megatron, but with Stu in front. So.
All right then. All right.
Well, I'll see y'all there.
Stuart, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah,
and next time when you have a fight lined up, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, come back. Yeah. We're gonna talk to you throughout all your fights. Let us know what happens.
Yep.
100%. I'll hit y'all.
Awesome. Thank you, Stuart, for joining us. We appreciate it. And you know what? That's going to do it for us here at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, folks, and we'll see you guys next time.